What is up, guys? Welcome back here to the YouTube channel. And today we are talking about the biggest goal setting mistakes that realtors make. We are already a week into 2026, and especially at the beginning of the year, I want you guys to be really intentional about how you grow your business this year because this is a huge piece of whether or not you will be successful or not this coming year, right? If you watched Monday's YouTube video, how realtors should actually be planning their 2026 goals, you heard me talk about slowing things down, not lowering the standard, not working hard, but planning in a way that's actually sustainable. We talked about building goals around consistency instead of motivation because motivation fades. We wanted to build our goals around habits instead of hype and instead of results. And if you listen to Wednesday's podcast episode, Why Most Realtors Fail Their Goals by February, we went even deeper. We talked about how most goals don't fail because people are lazy or uncommitted. They fail because there's too much pressure, too much change at once, and we're kind of like trying to do everything. We become a jack of all trades, master of none. And there's too much relying on like motivation, like, all right, I'm going to just pick myself up by the bootstraps instead of actual systems for success. So today's video is the practical explanation of the goal setting mistakes that realtors make, hoping that as we get into next week on the YouTube channel and podcast, you can build success and not fail and make these same mistakes. So, mistake number one, setting outcome goals without process goals. We talked about this earlier this week a little bit. The first mistake, though, is outcome goals. I want to make $200,000. I want to close 24 deals. I want to have my best year ever. That's not bad, but they're incomplete because I would much rather you judge yourself by the efforts, not the results. If you are a cold caller and you say, okay, when I make 100 cold calls, I get 10 deals, and 10 deals is what I want to sell, but then you make 100 cold calls and it doesn't work, you did your goal. And so I want you to like focus on the action. And as you're listening to this and watching this, I want you to write down maybe one daily thing or weekly thing that you can fully take control of. Again, we talked about it earlier this week. We want to have systems in place to create success, and we don't want to set a sales goal, closings, commissions. We want to judge ourselves by the actions. Examples, right? I want to post 5 times a week on social media. I want to follow up with 5 people per day. I want to record 1 video per week. If your goal does not have a daily or weekly action attached to it, it's already broken. We talked about this as well briefly. Mistake number two is trying to change everything at once. You cannot do it all. You cannot do it all at one time. A lot of realtors want to post on every platform, learn every strategy, cold call everyone, open house, do 100 open houses every weekend, and that's how burnout happens. So I want you to think about those actionable steps. One thing to improve for the next 30 to 60, 90 days. One platform, one lead source, one habit. Consistency over a long period of time beats intensity for a very short period of time. Mistake number three that realtors make as they start their new year is confusing motivation with discipline. And this one is huge. Motivation, we talked about it briefly, is emotional. Discipline is mechanical. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays and says, I'm doing this no matter what. So let's say you had a goal to spend time with your family. Well, maybe when you're upset or stressed or feel sick, you don't feel like spending time with them. You don't go by motivation. You have the discipline to say, my relationship with my wife matters, my relationship with my kids matters, and you do it no matter what. And so you need to decide, when will I do this? Where will I do this? How will I do this even when I don't feel like it? Someone I knew years ago used to say, actions lead, feelings follow. You guys know, if you've watched this, I'm not an early riser, so that's not my person. I do a lot of work actually in the evenings because that's when I work my best. But if you have a goal to get up and go to the gym at 5 o'clock, it's going to be painful for a period of time in the morning. But then the more you do it, the more routine it feels, the more you get into it. And so you have to decide, I'm doing this work at this time. I'm doing this many calls or this many social media posts. And then you have to say, When I don't feel like doing it, going to the gym, making the cold calls, doing the social media posts, whatever, I'm going to do it anyway because you know that it leads to the result. Mistake number four that realtors make is they are measuring success the wrong way. They're only looking at closings, they're only looking at dollars. That's like checking your weight every hour and getting discouraged if you're not down from an hour ago. So here's the fix for that. We talked about it just a second ago. Measure effort, not just the results. Ask yourself on a weekly basis this year, guys, did I show up? Did I work hard? Did I stay consistent? Would I be if I was my boss, which in theory you are, right? But if I was hiring myself, would I be proud of the work I accomplished? And was I being a good steward of my time? I think that last one is a big one because I think all the time, I think about if my kids are at school and I'm here at my desk working or with a client, am I being a good steward of my time? If I'm not being a good steward of my time, during the day and he comes home at 4 and I have to do all this work in the few hours I have with him, that's not being a good steward of my time. So you have to be a good steward of your time and ask yourself that. Another mistake agents make, and my last one for this video, is they're going at it alone. The last mistake is just trying to do it alone. And that means you have no accountability, no feedback, no perspective. And that's why so many goals quietly disappear. I remember, being on a health journey in 2025 and into 2026. I did it in 2024 for a little bit, I think twice actually. Well, guess what? When I stopped eating healthy or whatever, and I stopped losing weight and I gained weight back, there was no one to check in with me. I have a health coach now. We check in every single Monday. It keeps me motivated. And so, wherever you're at in your business, you need a coach. And if you need help, feel free to reach out to me. But you need somebody. Maybe it's at your brokerage, maybe it's a friend or family member who's also in real estate. You need somebody. You need someone to keep you accountable. You need someone to give you feedback. And you need someone to give you perspective on what you're doing and if you're doing the right things. And that's why these reasons, guys, are why so many goals disappear. They are. We'll go back through it quickly, right? Setting outcome goals without process goals, number one. Number two, trying to change everything at once. Number three, confusing motivation with discipline. Number four, measuring the wrong things. And then number five, you're going at it alone. You guys all need accountability. You need it. So let's bring it full circle, okay? Monday, we talked about how to plan your goals the right way. Wednesday on the podcast, we talked about why most realtors fail their goals by February. And today, you now know the 5 mistakes to avoid so that this doesn't happen to you. Next week on the channel and podcast, we're going to keep building out this consistency as we talk more about storytelling and why most agents quit too early. So make sure you are subscribed. I really appreciate you guys having me on this journey with you. And I love you watching the videos and reaching out to me. I really appreciate it. So have a great weekend. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm always here to support and encourage you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.